And let's take a look at a few different outputs. So first of all, with the image, you have all the different main image raster files that you would expect: JPEG, PNG, TIFF. Now I'm going to take this back out to a PDF. And you'll see here that we can go back out to a 2D PDF or a 3D PDF. So of course everyone's familiar with 2D PDF, so we'll start here. And you'll see that each one of my snapshots has been taken out into each individual page. Now let's go back, and I'm going to publish out a 3D PDF. Now, a lot of you may not be familiar with a 3D PDF, but you'll notice right across the top of my screen, I'm inside of Adobe Reader, so this is free. But now I'm able to interact with my geometry. So it's very much like a DWF file, and of course there's some advantages to DWF where we can do some markup that we're not able to do inside the 3D PDF. But here again, as a client, I can go back and interact with this. So going back to the scenario where I had with my wife's headlight on her car, if I had something like this where I would have been able to zoom up on that and see exactly what they wanted me to do, I'm pretty confident I would have been able to get that headlight replaced a lot faster. So think about putting this 3D PDF on your website. Make it very interactive for your clients. And of course, we can take it out to PowerPoint, Vector. So again, some of you were using the Adobe products. So again, we're going to complement that process. You can take that right out to your Adobe products. So now I'm going to take this out to a mobile device. So with these mobile devices, this is going to be the iPhone, the iPod Touch, or the iPad. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this online. So here, I'm selecting a folder that this is going to go. So when you get Publisher, you're given 1 gig of space that you can upload your data to as long as you're on subscription. Now, I kind of turned the screen here. I'm now looking at my iPad. So what I was able to do through my iPad is I downloaded the assembly here showing exactly where I'm at. Now, the question that I was asked a couple weeks ago is, well, how big is this file? The file that you're looking at on this iPad is 85K. That's it. Now, let's take a look what's happening here. So I have all my assembly instructions on the right-hand side, so I can simply click on one of those steps. I can see that. I have my full animation. As you can see, I can interact with this with my iPad. If I want some information on that, I just select on that. And you'll notice I have all of my data in regards to the property information. And of course, I have the full-blown animation. So again, if I'm assembling something out in the field, and if I have a question, I can always call back. I can have them update the assembly instructions, and in a matter of minutes, I can get an updated assembly manual without having to go back into the office. So that is the mobile devices. And lastly, I want to take this out to Word. So as you saw from our previous poll, a lot of you are using Word. And this is what it's going to look like inside of Word. And so the nice part with Word is I can go back and manually make some changes. So you can see here, each one of those steps, I can go back and retype some information back in. I can resize the image as needed, move it around. So I'm in complete control. You can also modify this template file that this is going out. So with this template file, I'm also placing in all my screen captures, if you will, that it's placing it from one snapshot to the other, so I could go back and remove those if I needed to. And that pretty much is going to be the presentation for Publisher. So a little bit of a recap here. So hopefully you saw how easy, how quick we can go back and create those assembly instructions, that documentation, as you can see, it's tightly integrated into our CAD application. And of course, I showed it with Inventor where we do have the ability to go back and create our assembly instructions at the same time that the design is not necessarily in its completed state, where I can go back and do some updating. Hopefully you saw the authoring capabilities. Think about all the section views and the detail views, how easy I was able to create each one of those. And of course, interactive with the 3D. As I mentioned when we started off here, everyone is thinking 3D, right? If anyone has kids, it's all about the gaming experience. It's all about 3D. Well, that world is now hitting us here in the manufacturing world as well.
And so, Dan, before we talk about what next steps would be, there was one question that came in, and can you just briefly maybe just even go over, if we're dealing with a SolidWorks file, how would that workflow change from how you took a look at it here and where you were working with Inventor data?
So to bring in and work with the SolidWorks data, we would have really two to three methods to do that. Of course, we could convert it using Inventor. We could bring it into Inventor and work with it that way. We could also output a DWF file, which is a free plugin. So right from SolidWorks, output a DWF file, and then we could bring that in. Those would probably be the top two ways to deal with that data.
Okay. I guess, are there any other questions? I didn't receive a whole lot of questions during the presentation. I'll go ahead and just give a minute here if anyone has anything they'd want to type in. I guess as you're thinking about those questions, and definitely feel free to do that, I'll just talk about what some of the next steps are. And again, I am in sales, but I don't want you to see this as a sales pitch. I really see this as a great opportunity for you to be able to make an investment that hopefully is going to relieve a lot of the pressures that probably your very highly paid engineers are spending their time doing a lot of this and working with the Tech Pubs department, or maybe they are the Tech Pubs department, and it's grabbing a lot of their time that should be spent somewhere else. Really, from Master Graphics perspective, now really is a great time for you to buy Inventor Publisher. The reason for that, first and foremost, is that Master Graphics was given the opportunity from Autodesk to really take advantage of some very interesting discounts on a limited number of seats of Inventor Publisher. And because of that, we're putting together or we have put together a bundle or a promotion for you to take a look at. And I've got the first three bullets there describe what's in that bundle. First of all, if you're interested in looking at it now, seats that we have, it is a network seat. And so put that on your server if you've got multiple people that are going to need to use that. Obviously, not concurrently, but other people that need to share that, you're going to have it as a network seat of Inventor Publisher. The SRP, as it comes from Autodesk, is a little over $3,000. Based on the incentives that we have, our promo price is half of that. It's 50%. And it's really just on the quantities that we have. I took a look at it before I got on this presentation, and we actually, at this point, we have 13 seats that are still available. And so it's something where I know there's a lot of interest. So if this is a presentation that resonated with you, definitely would want you to talk to a Master Graphics account manager. You could easily call me as well, or Dan, and I can give you that phone number at the end of the presentation. But first is the seat of Inventor Publisher. You also, as part of this promotion, we do want you to have it on subscription. Interestingly, when Publisher was first released, I think it was a great product, and it was, Dan, was it 6 months following the release of the product, they put out another release that really put a lot of enhancements in the product. And again, as a subscription customer, that is available to you. So we want you to have it on subscription. And then the last thing, if you go all the way back to the start of my presentation, our focus is we want you to be productive with it. We don't want you to spend $2,000 on a product that's going to sit there and not help you. And so with this promotion, we have an Inventor Publisher workshop that Dan has put together, and we're offering that as included in this bundle. So you're really not even paying for that, even though, with the time and consulting rates and that kind of thing, there would normally be a cost involved with that.
And Brent,
to round that out, go ahead, Dan.
So those workshops are going to be delivered via the web, so there will be no travel costs for anybody as well.
Great point. Lastly, the limitations that I would have, again, limited quantities, whatever we have, as soon as it's sold out, I've informed my sales team that it's just based on when you get the purchase order in, that's when we'll say, yeah, that can go to that customer. The purchases also, based on our promotion, have to be purchased by the end of the year. And then lastly, I'd want you to know when the training workshop dates are being offered. We just finalized these. We've got one coming up in just a week from today on December 8th. We're going to try it here, but all of them will start at 10 a.m. and they'll be done by 12. What it really is intended to be is sort of a starter kit or a launching point for you to make sure you understand the basics of how you're working with Inventor Publisher and get you moving forward toward adoption. Then we'll have 2 classes that will also happen in January, and then a last one that first week of February. Dan, do you have anything else you'd want to add? I didn't get any other questions from the group.
I think, the only thing that I would maybe say in recap here, again, with Publisher, the question that I always get is, how much CAD experience is required to run Publisher? And the answer is none. You'll notice the user interface of Publisher, it doesn't have CAD technology dialog boxes, if you will. It's very quick, clean, and easy to get into. That's why we really believe that 2-hour workshop, after that 2 hours, you will be able to create your documentation. And what we've seen from clients so far is that they're able to do it in a matter of a fraction of what they were doing previously.
Again, an excellent point. It's definitely for the non-CAD user. In conclusion, go ahead.
I mean, of course, if you have CAD experience, obviously you can use this package as well, right? So, and goes without saying, but.
Yeah. In conclusion, again, I said I would mention, probably your first point of contact, if there's additional interest, would be to go to the account manager that invited you to the presentation. If for some reason you're on this presentation and you don't have a contact, I'll give you our 800 number. It's 800-873-7238. I'll say that one more time, 800-873-7238. You can ask for me, Brent Adler. You could ask for Dan Bonick, and one of us will be able to get you some information. So with that, we'll go ahead and close our presentation. I thank you for all of your time, and hopefully we'll be able to help you out with the solution. Thank you.